industry. Despite the short-term boost, selection at the gate wasn't good for anyone involved. Doctors and clinic administrators felt as if they were stuck between economics and education. As one doctor told me, if your motivation for doing the job is to help patients or to expand your horizons scientifically, then, actually, you will choose to work in a clinic that is very diverse. You may particularly go out there and look for the difficult patients because you can learn a lot from that. But if you choose to go that route, he continued, you may well find yourself at a commercial disadvantage. Patients were disadvantaged as well, especially those who were considered difficult cases. A woman in her late 30s, for example, may have looked at the rankings and chosen a clinic with a high success rate, not knowing that the clinic wouldn't be interested in taking her on as a patient. Worse, she may have avoided a clinic with a low success rate, even though that clinic may have specialized in difficult cases such as hers. This is just one textbook example of good intentions gone bad. The government was keen to measure IVF clinics, but these measures were imperfect representations of a clinic's success and what consumers really wanted to know. And as is often the case, once officials began measuring things, clinics began optimizing for the measures, success rates, rather than the real thing, performance with all cases. Unsurprisingly, this system had harmful effects on the patients and the clinics that didn't practice selection at the gate. But the biggest victim may come as a surprise. As my colleague Mihaela Stan and I discovered while researching the IVF industry, the practice probably did the most harm to the clinics that accepted easy cases. You heard that right. After an initial surge of success, the clinics that tried to game the system ended up performing worse in the long run than their ethos-driven competitors. Why? The learning curve. Learning by doing. The learning curve is a well-known phenomenon in management research. It shows that organizations pretty much automatically get better at what they produce. For example, as Boeing built more and more 737s, the process became easier and less expensive as time went on. Researchers have conducted such learning curve studies in many industries. I have seen studies on airplanes, cars, bottles, pizzas, and so on. And, as Stan and I discovered, the learning curve applied to IVF clinics as well. Figure 1.1 displays the learning curves of the clinics that treated mostly good prognosis patients, labelled high selection at the gate, and of the clinics that also admitted a lot of poor prognosis patients, low selection at the gate. The vertical axis is the success rate, and the horizontal axis displays the clinic's experience. As you can see, on the left side of Figure 1.1, as discussed, the clinics that admitted poor prognosis patients did much worse in terms of their success rate than the clinics that mostly treated easy cases at first. But you'll notice that selection at the gate had another effect that clinics hadn't anticipated. The success rate of those clinics increased a bit with experience, but not a whole lot, as shown by the almost horizontal line of the graph. The clinics that treated a lot of poor prognosis patients, on the other hand, witnessed a sharp rise in their success rate. Their learning curve is steep. It is so steep that after a year or so, the lines cross, and the clinics that treated quite a lot of poor prognosis patients actually started to display higher success rates than the clinics that thought they were being clever by treating good prognosis patients only. The clinics that did admit poor prognosis patients ended up doing significantly better in terms of their success rates, in spite of performing the procedure on a lot of poor prognosis patients. Clearly, in the end, the good guys won. Clinics learn a lot from poor prognosis cases. Figuring out how to help women who have a complicated etiology get pregnant leads to deeper knowledge, better communication patterns between specialists, and new innovative procedures. Because of that, doctors were also able to use their new insights to improve standard cases as well. The rankings-driven clinics aren't an anomaly. Organizations in every industry are harming themselves because of the best practices they've adopted and continue to use. The good news, as I'll explore throughout this book, is that it's possible to